And so I want to start with an exercise which many of you know, but I think it might be new to a couple of you. And it's an exercise called the Circle of the Heart. And the purpose of the exercise is to think a really clear thought. So the title of today's lesson is The Power of Thought. The idea is that the thought itself has a power if we can think it in such a way that we allow all of the usual busyness of our minds and any sort of habitual feelings or urges that tend to come up from inside us, if we can let all of those things calm down and think a thought in a very clear way, then that thought has a huge power. And I want to take this idea right through the session, but to start with an exercise that is specifically about that. And the Circle of the Heart involves, first of all, thinking a thought. Now I'm going to demonstrate it, so I don't want you to join in yet. I know obviously you can't see it as well on the screen, but you can at least see the movement, and I'll describe what I'm doing in terms of thinking. What I do, first of all, in terms of thinking, is I think a circle. I picture a circle. So the circle is that big. It reaches from my lap up to my hands, a great big circle. And we spend quite a bit of time just imagining the circle. Eyes stay open, we don't go deep inside ourselves. We just put the circle in a very present way here in the room, so it can exist outside ourselves in the room here. Eyes stay open. And once that we have that feeling that the circle is really vivid, then we touch it. And the more vividly we've created that circle, the more power it has. And that means that the movement happens with less and less effort, because the circle, the thought itself, does it for us. If the thought is really brought alive, the movement happens in this amazingly effortless kind of way, a natural kind of way. So do you like to make sure that you start with your spine upright, either kneeling down or kneeling up, whichever is most comfortable. Make sure that the neck is free and the head is held up high, because the head is really the most important part of the body in this exercise. It's the bit that does the thinking. It's not like intellectual thinking. It's more like very creative, vivid, picturing kind of thinking. So take your hands just up to the starting position, but don't start the movement quite yet. Take some time to start creating this imaginary circle in the space in front of you. This is not a process that demands a lot of effort. We can think of it as being the most natural process, as if we just allow the circle to come into being. Breath stays free. We start to feel it sitting there right in front of us. When you feel this really vivid presence of your thought circle, just touch its edges, feeling it with your hands in this very natural and yet alive kind of way. The fingers can remain soft and sensitive, so that you can really feel the edges of this circle. If the circle remains present in your imagination, then the movement can happen with a real lightness and effortlessness. And just rest your hands in your lap. Let the breath flow, neck relaxed, shoulders relaxed. One thing about thinking a clear thought in this way is that it's very calming, because it's as if that thought takes the place of all the busyness that is usually going on in our minds.